Haters see you the clearest. Let me tell you why. If someone hates on you, it's because they feel threatened. We always hear that. A lot of us understand what that means, but I think some people can struggle to really believe that because you might have bad self-esteem, or the person hating on you is somebody that you might look up to and somebody that you might respect. And that can be a tough situation, but think about it like this. If somebody is even bothering to attack you, to come for you, to rain down on you, it's because you are a threat. If you truly meant nothing and could not either psychologically bother or threaten a person or physically come and ruin something that they have going on, they would not even waste a moment on you. It's like a little ant that you see crawl off in the distance. You don't get up and walk over there to smash it down unless you're afraid of them and you need to know that they're all going to be killed so that there's none around or something. Otherwise, you just leave it alone. And that's the same with people that hate, that people that attack and don't have a reason for it, don't have some sort of cause. There's no real justification or solid rational motivation. It's because they're threatened. And it's simply just because they see something in you that you might not be seeing in yourself, or that you might not be fully valuing in yourself. And I think that's a way to reframe hate and jealousy when you get it, or just attacks when you get it, especially when you find yourself wondering why on earth somebody would come for you when you didn't do anything, you didn't say anything, you don't go out of your way to bother people. You actually probably try to stay out the way. You probably try to be appeasing or agreeable and accommodating, pleasant to be around, kind, all these sorts of things. And you find that people still want to say something to you that takes you down a peg or makes you doubt yourself a little bit, or it's a backhanded compliment, or they seem to rag on anything that you try to do, anything that you have achieved, that sort of thing. I remember one time when I was way back in school actually, and I got a really high mark on a random assessment. It was a random report we had to write for like science. It was one of our science classes. And I was telling my friends about it, but in the group was this other girl who wasn't really, we were friendly, but she wasn't like one of my actual friends. And it was very random of her to turn around and she was like, oh, well, you only got that mark because it was a fluke, basically, is what she said. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I remember that was the implication. And I just thought, who the fuck are you? Where the fuck have you come from? And what do you mean? Like, we have to put in effort to do the assessment. I just put in effort and I got a high mark. Mind you, she is also very smart. And I don't know what her mark got, but I assume it was really high. But it was like, why do you feel threatened? Why do you feel like you have to tell me that when I'm just talking about how happy and proud I am for getting an A plus in this class? And you were like, oh, well, that's just, you accidentally got that. Like, what the hell? And it's just because maybe she got an A and I got the A plus. I don't know. Maybe it's because the teacher actually commended me in front of other people and she's used to being the one that would get that. And so she just felt like maybe she was having a bad day and that added to it. But I remember just being, bothered by it at the time. I didn't say anything directly to her, but I remember thinking, what the fuck? Like, what was the point of that? And now that I remember it, I think back, it's just one of those many moments in life where you look back and you go, actually, it's just because she was bothered. I don't think she had a huge vendetta against me and she hated me or anything. I think it was just simply a moment where she was triggered and she just made a comment like that. But it shows you that in moments like that, you might think this person has a point, or that hurt what they said. You don't say anything and you get upset or annoyed at it, and initially you don't want to believe it, but you keep ruminating on it because a part of you is like, maybe they're right, maybe I did fluke and that was just something that accidentally happened. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Maybe I'm lying to myself, or I'm some sort of imposter, something like that, right? I think we can get that thinking really easily, and you just have to reframe it. It's just because that person in that moment felt inferior, or they felt threatened, or they were triggered because they had other things going on for themselves, and then you having a small win or looking like you're in a good mood or doing well pissed them off. It's not really about you at the end of the day. It may feel that way though when you have people that specifically come for you, but this is why it's important to just distance yourself from people like that, no matter how close they are, as much as you can, because sometimes there are people that we can't avoid, especially if you're really young and you're still living with your parents and you're living with family and you can't yet move out. You're going to have to undergo a lot of interactions that you probably don't want to have until you can get out of there. But minimize what you can be around and reframe things in your mind so that when they come up, you can just go, this isn't actually about me, this is about this person. And you don't have to bring it up, you don't have to point it out to them. You can just quietly be like, okay, you know, and it helps you energetically push their stuff away and you protect yourself, if that makes sense. So yes, I think haters see you the clearest. I really do. I think they see in you the sparks that you may overlook in yourself. So sometimes they are a blessing in disguise. What are they picking on you for? Have a look at it a little bit, examine it, and maybe go to somebody that you really trust, that loves and cares for you, and ask them, do you think this person picking on me means this? Because they always talk about this, and that person will probably be like, I've been waiting to tell you. I think that they're bothered because you articulate yourself really well, or you dress really well, or people really seem to like your energy and like gravitating towards you, and this person doesn't get that sort of reception. You know, I've had a long time ago in my early adulthood, I had friends that, or a friend that would kind of mimic my personality and my demeanor, and then sort of make me feel crazy, like I was copying them, or that my personality was some sort of derivative of theirs, which I think is insane, because all I ever have been is myself. Even when I was anxious and reclusive, I was still myself at who I was at that time. And then they just made me feel like my whole personality and all my interests was something that was not my own, and they were kind of adopting it to kind of be theirs, which is insane. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, you might experience things like that. Some of the biggest haters will be people that supposedly love you and call you their family or their friends, but they always have to knock down an idea you have. Or once you start achieving things, they always have to make a comment about that little thing that you're doing, or like, oh, that's cute, you know, but it kind of has that sarcastic or passive aggressive tone. And a part of you knows that this person does not support you. Because where are they when you post something that you want people to support of yours? Where are they when you invite people to an event of yours? They're not anywhere to be found. They're not the person chucking out more invites or scrounging up attention for you. They're not mentioning you in conversation unless it's to kind of speak at you sideways, talk shit on you or something of that nature, you know? And I just think, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I think reframing it and looking at it like that will help you a lot, because it's not actually about you. It's about them. They feel a lack within themselves over something. They too have imposter syndrome, and they're trying to give it to you. They're trying to project it. They're like, I can't carry this. Here, you have it. Maybe you'll believe it and take it and do the work for me, and I don't have to do it. Maybe you'll keep yourself down here and subjugate yourself to more ridicule and disrespect, and keeping yourself small, minimized, so that it benefits them and they can be the brightest thing in the room, or the strongest thing, or the sharpest thing, you know, and you just keep yourself quiet and you don't voice your opinions or share your passions or express your interests and do your creations, because this person has slowly and insidiously made you feel like those things are silly for you to do, or your version of them, your expression of them is silly, but theirs is something, you know. And those kinds of people I find don't even actually create anything, or if they do, they stop and start and a lot, because they themselves are dealing with the self-esteem issue. And it's a shame, because they probably could bring something brilliant into the world if they were more loving, if they were more accepting of themselves, and they just calmed down and weren't so hateful. But that's not the route that they want to take. They want to project their issues outwardly, and they want to make you hold their shame and their guilt as if it is yours, for you to process that, but not for you to alchemize it and then be better and then help them be better. For you to just shh, and for them to stay right where they are, so they feel relieved and they can continue being the tyrant that they are. And it's just small-minded people. And it, like I keep saying, it has got nothing to do with you, but they will fight tooth and nail to make it think that make you think that it is about you, and they will come at you like, I care about you, I just don't want to see you fail. They might share a personal anecdote about how they tried something and it failed and it was devastating and they want to save you from the rejection, you know, or something that they saw in someone else's life that they care about or love or knew really well. And you know, they'll have all sorts of excuses and all sorts of stories. Somebody that loves you and believes in you and sees you is going to go, you'll make a way, I trust you, I trust you to find a way. You know what, actually, I have noticed that you do have a skill for public speaking. I think you'll be really good at that. I have noticed that you're very good with your hands and you have an eye for detail. You'll be very good at that. They'll be elated that you're even trying, and they'll just support you every step of the way, and they'll clap even when you fall. They'll help you back up and go, come on, you're fine. You fell, it's okay. You know, that's the difference. Someone that even is worried for you will make sure that they're right there on the sidelines while you do your thing. They'll still want you to do it, but they will be like this, waiting for you to fall so that they can just, you know, yank you back up and you can carry on. Somebody that's like, don't even bother, don't even try, or have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Oh, that's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of consideration. Like, you don't understand the cost of that, or the labor of that. Okay, who cares? Like, maybe it's just because I'm a fiery person, and so I love, like, I'm very passionate, and once I have an idea and I lock onto something, I have to go and achieve it. I have to go and do it. I have to start it and initiate it. Maybe it's just because I'm like that I really believe that that's a really important character trait to have in friends when it comes to supporting you. But yeah, I just think that is important. I think you'll know the difference between someone who supports you versus someone who is your secret enemy number one, you know, your hater fan club, you know. But there's no need to give haters any more attention than they already want. You know, they just want to know they matter. The reason they keep squawking and trying to get you to listen to them is because they want to feel useful and they want to know that they matter. And sometimes you coming into your own or stepping further along on your journey in your purpose will make them feel less valuable. They'll feel like, well, you needed me for advice, but if you get really good at this thing, you won't need me for advice anymore. You need me for confidence because you used to confide in me, or you used to want me to accompany you to things. But when you get better and more confident, that means you won't need me. And so this person might just be used to being needed and valued in that way, and so it's a real threat. Sometimes it's more malicious than that, but I just need to tell you, as much as you may love and care for this person, or at the very least have a lot of empathy for them, it doesn't mean that it's your problem to fix. It really isn't. Please do not waste your time trying to convince somebody that they need to be more of something. If that's really important to you, lead an example. You do it then. You show empathy to people. You show love, but you really embody it because it now is becoming a part of your character, or it has always been a part of your character. You lead the way. And if you're inspiring enough to them, then they might start doing it too. And if you're not, that's not a loss on you. That's just they weren't receptive. You weren't the vehicle that was going to bring them that sort of intervention. And that's fine. That's okay. You're not going to be everything for everybody, just like not everybody is for you. So that's that. You know, don't try to save every person, even when they're people you care about. And that's another lesson that you'll have to learn if you haven't already. And that's perfectly okay to stumble around sometimes and to learn that you can't save a person or fix them, even if you love them so hard and you try to pick them up every chance you get. You got to save you. You know, when the oxygen masks fall from the tops of the things in the planes, they say always put it on yourself first before you help the person next to you if they're struggling. That's how you need to live your life. It doesn't mean you don't care about that person, but how are you going to help anybody if you don't have oxygen? You know what I mean? What if they're struggling, you're struggling to help them, and then you can't get theirs on, and then you also die or pass out because you didn't have yours on, and now two of you are dead? You know, think of that more as a metaphor to this whole thing than literal, or it'd be a bit grim. But yeah, I mean, I could keep going on and on and on, but I think you get the point, and I think I've said enough food for thought. So your haters see you the clearest. You're a threat to them. Take it for what it is. It's not about you, and keep it pushing.